Hi friends, and welcome to my new garage, where I am with my Volvo V70 today. So this is my new space. It is pretty small in here, only my V70 fits inside and no other car for now. But I really needed a new place to film, because in my other garage, my friends' cars are always inside. So I'm really happy with this place. Of course, I'm not here today to show you my new garage. I'm here because I'm going to restore and install this second-hand steering wheel that I got for my Volvo V70. I don't know if anyone really cares about this car because it's my daily, but this is the steering wheel that's currently in. And this is the new steering wheel. It's a wooden 3-spoke and I think it's really cool, but it's really ugly, as you can see. So that's why I'm going to restore it today. I'm going to repaint it using some Colorlock, and I thought I'd show you guys the process. But first, let me make a little table to work on. And this is the product I'm going to be using. It's Colorlock, so it's a dye for your interior. It's a slightly different color from the steering wheel, but it is the original color of the car. So I'm going to change color a bit, but it will look pretty fresh, I think. I am going to remove the airbag first, so I can paint both parts separately. I'm going to get started with this part of the steering wheel, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand the parts that need to be repainted slightly with some sanding sheet. You can also use some Grit 1000, but I just bought this along with the product. Now that the surface is sanded, I'm going to degrease it. I'm using this Colorlock degreaser, but you can use any mild degreaser you like. I just used this because I already had it, because I've Colorlocked another steering wheel before. So yeah, let's degrease it. I'm going to redo the back side again after I'm done painting the front, but why not degrease it 2 times? Well, this step's optional. You can just skip it if you have a fully leather steering wheel, but I'm going to use some tape to cover the wooden parts because I don't want to dye them, of course. And of course I gotta tape off these little buttons as well. Now let's get to the actual painting. I'm going to show you what's inside this box. It's not much, but so this is the leather dye itself. Focus. Yeah. And it's light sand beige. Beige? I don't know. And a little sponge to dab it on. And some gloves are in here, but I'm going to use my own because these are way too big for my hands. Now to dye the steering wheel, you gotta make sure you've shaken this bottle really well. And then you're just going to put some on the sponge. Not too much, but just a little bit. And then what I do is I like to dab it on instead of rubbing it. Because in my opinion, it looks a lot better that way. You don't have to do it too thick, because you can do multiple layers. But by dabbing instead of rubbing, it doesn't leave any stripes. So that's what I'm going to do on all these surfaces, and then I'll go back and redo them a few times. I'll probably have to do them quite a few times because the leather is so badly damaged and because this color is lighter than the color of the steering wheel. But normally you want to go for around 2 or 3 layers to keep the texture of the leather intact. So to make the paint dry faster in between the different layers, I'm going to use the blow dryer that I normally use on my hair to help it dry, because it's really cold here, it's freezing outside, and it will take way too long for the layers to dry. You could also use a heat gun used for paint, but it's a lot hotter than the blow dryer you use for your hair. So make sure to keep a bigger distance, or else you'll probably burn the leather, which would be a shame. Okay, I think you get what I'm doing now. I'm just going to continue repeating this process until everything's nice and evenly coated. Okay, I'm done painting the front side of the steering wheel. Now you can really clearly see the color difference, but like I said, this is the original interior color of my car, and this is a newer type Volvo steering wheel, so I did want to change color. But yeah, now let's go and do the back side as well. Okay, so this normally is like a 1 hour job, I think, to do, but since I'm changing color, it takes me way longer because I need to add way more layers. I think I've added about 10 layers on the front, and now I'm still gonna do the back, which is a way bigger surface, so that takes some time, but usually I'm pretty fast when I'm doing this, but it is kind of therapeutic, so it's okay. As you can see, the first few layers just make it really spotty, but that's just because I'm changing color. When you're doing the same color and just touching up the leather, this is usually when it starts to look good after 2 or 3 layers, but this looks absolutely horrible. That being said, the product really isn't made for changing color, but you can change color. I've done it before and it still looks absolutely amazing after like a year, so you can. So I'm just going to do it, but yeah, it's not ideal because this product's mainly made for touching up paint, so that's why it looks like this. I must say, this is now the 4th layer I'm doing, and it's already starting to look pretty good. I'm adding some thicker layers now, and that seems to do the trick. Like I said, I normally don't try to make the layers too thick because it will get rid of the structure from the leather, but I'll probably lose most of it because I'm adding so many layers, so it doesn't really matter. But do be careful not to add too much product in one go if it isn't necessary. I'm just going to do one final layer, and then I think it's pretty even. And then we still gotta do the airbag before we can install the steering wheel. Well, I can install it, but I want to install everything in one go. Back side of the steering wheel is done as well, and surprisingly it still has the leather structure, so that's really cool. And I'm really happy with the new color. I also think this color looks way better. Let me hold the airbag next to it. I prefer this one. Well, that's personal preference, but I'm really happy with it. Let's remove the tape. There are bits of color on the wood still, which was to be expected, but you can just remove it using the degreaser. Now onto the airbag. I won't bore you guys too much and show you the entire process all over again, so I'll just time-lapse this and then we can install the steering wheel together. And that's it for the final layer of Colorlock. Now I'm going to remove the tape. And then I'm going to install the airbag onto the steering wheel. Just to see what it looks like. Because I will have to install them into the car separately. That looks amazing. I think that's super cool. I love the color. The only thing is that this is still the original color and I'm going to repaint it, but I will need some Q-tips or something for it. And I don't have anything in my garage, so I'm going to install the steering wheel like this. I'm now going to install the new steering wheel, but first I gotta remove the old one. So I already disconnected the battery when I arrived here, so the airbag won't go off. I just gotta remove the 2 screws at the back of the airbag. And then I can loosen that big nut that keeps the steering wheel itself in place. And that's it for the airbag. Now, I don't know the size of this bolt. Let me get some tools. $18 it is. Okay, so there's one big bolt over here that I gotta release, and then I can remove the steering wheel. I'm using my Makita to get it off. Hopefully that will be strong enough, but I do think so. Okay, excuse the bad lighting, but I'm going to install the new steering wheel. And that's it for the new steering wheel. It looks white on camera, but it's not. I think it looks amazing. I really like it. And now that the steering wheel is in place, it's time for me to go home. I hope you learned something today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!